Hey everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm coming to you from the Virginia countryside once again. I'm outdoors and it's a beautiful day. Loving this. Lots of cool bugs and animals all around me at this moment. I don't know if you can hear the bird who's scolding me right now for being up in her territory. So some cool stuff. And today I wanted to talk to you about some ideas. Ideas are allowance and resistance, and how viewing your life in this way and incorporating these ideas, these concepts into your life can actually really change how you operate. At least it has for me, so I'm going to share it with you. Okay, so we have this idea with the American dream and just a lot of ideas within American culture and many others that you really have to work and struggle and sacrifice for what you want. It's not going to come easy. It's going to be painful. It's going to be horrible. And then I think we're kind of left with the results being like, ooh, haha, yep, that was a bee in my hair. You're kind of left being like, well, is this even something that I wanted anyway? You know, do I want all of this? And a lot of times I think we're all coming to know that's not what I want. We need to try another way. So if that is unappealing to you, the idea of working as hard as you can, you know, to have a 2-week vacation once a year, and where the whole time you're just like, why can't this just be my life? You know, why do I have to schlep around to the job I hate? And then, you know, have a big flat screen TV so I can watch that at night so it can distract me from how displeased I am with my life, you know, etc. You get the idea. There's another way, and that's the way I've started incorporating into my mindset and tried to live by. So, the ideas of resistance and allowance. It kind of just came to me. This is not a really brilliant idea, but it just came to me in a very simple way one day, that I feel like my life is like this tube, or just a vessel, anything that is like running through freely and openly. And that you can either imagine like air flowing through it or water flowing through it. I like to think of water, and that's how we naturally are. We're naturally open, like just flowing beings, and the water is this life source just flowing through us, and you can't really separate yourself from it. And then as we grow up, as we take on the energy of others, as we develop ideas about, you know, what our restrictions and limitations are, we start to constrict that flow, to kind of like squeeze that tube like here and there. And as we do that, we start to feel cut off from our source. As we start to feel more cut off from our source, or maybe we don't even notice it, but it manifests like in a physical realm of, yeah, we're going to get some illnesses, we're going to feel depressed, we're going to have some troubles. And instead of thinking of that as being a bad thing, it's really speaking to us in a really helpful way. It's like, hey man, this isn't cool, like, your life can be better than this. And so it's kind of bringing our attention back to the fact that we can be happier. We don't have to settle for what we've been settling for. So, thinking of myself as a being who is connected to Source, and it's really my own neuroses, my own anxieties, things that, you know what, I can work on those. I've been working on those. And I still have some. Yeah, I do. I'm a human being. I have plenty of those. I have lots of things. I have lots of fears and things that hold me back, but I'm working on it to the extent to where my life doesn't feel controlled. I feel like I can get to that observer place and be like, okay, yeah, you are scared of that. Like, I'll help myself, ease myself into that one then. We'll do this in a loving way. But I don't feel controlled anymore. And that is huge. If you're able to view your life in that way, you know, get ready for some pretty awesome times, because you can let go of that old idea of things having to be horrible and having to be unpleasant, And the more that I've incorporated that idea of just that free flow into my life, the happier I've become. And an example of that is like one of my fears. I didn't start driving until I was older. When I would drive, like my parents really just avoided it at all costs. They hadn't done it with my two older sisters, so I was like the first one that they had to do it with, and I was nervous about it, and they were nervous about it, and we just like fed that energy like back and forth and back and forth. So if they wanted to drive, I would be like, I don't even want to do it, but like I better do it any time that they're willing to do it, because they're never really wanting to, and otherwise I'd have to like, beg them, and they still didn't really want to do it, and I never had confidence driving because of that. Well, not because of that. I chose to take that on. But that contributed to me not having any confidence in that. And, I'm a nervous person anyway, so it was pretty natural. But, yeah, so I started driving when I was a little older, and I never really had a lot of confidence in it. And the thing is, there's so much energy flying around. This guy behind you is right on your ass, and he wants you to be going, 15 miles faster than you can go, and either you feel comfortable with, and your intuition's telling you one thing, and then like the social pressure's telling you another thing, and safety and blah blah blah. It's like, oh my god, there's so much going on. And if you don't feel really rooted like within yourself about your own intuition, and that you have to just follow that, driving is just extremely stressful. So I'm out here in the mountains right now, and I was remembering being out here with my boyfriend driving, and there were on these crazy mountain curves, and I was just like, how am I going to get used to doing this, not driving like 25 miles per hour? And I knew I was kind of building it up a little bit, and part of me was like pretty freaked out, but the more that I was getting closer to it and just staying with this expansive, allowing idea that everything is just allowance, it's not forcing, it's all about allowing, getting back to that natural state. It's not about learning, it's about like unlearning almost, it's about gently removing those obstacles that we put in our own path. It's about gently loosening up on our fingers that we're tightly constricting that flow, of that tube. And so today I had my first drive through the mountains, and I could feel when I was constricting my own flow, when I was tensing up. And I could feel when I was just in that flow, and I'm really working on my breath. So doing a lot of breath work was extremely helpful, because there's no way that you can force yourself to take a relaxing deep breath. Like, it has to come from this very soft, gentle place within you. And that's just how the breath is. That's your life source. So that's a fantastic way to get in tune with that, is by doing breathing exercises. There's a lot of great ones out there if you start to look them up. But yeah, and so I could just feel myself almost becoming a part of like this grand flow, and my boyfriend was like, talking about that. He's like, I almost feel like you could just do this, not me personally, but like this is something one might even be able to do with their eyes closed or blind, following these curves, because there's something about the momentum of the curve that just takes you there and takes you to the next place. And for me, as somebody who has liked a lot of control, you can't see what's coming around that bend. That's where my anxiety comes from. You cannot foretell that. You need to just trust in how you are connected to that curve, and that everything is going to be okay, and to be aware, and to be present, and to be breathing. And anytime that you're really constricted, that's going to be when you are kind of cutting off that flow to an extent. And I think that something kind of to note is that we often ask other people or other things if they're going to heal us or have authority over us. If you think of anybody having authority over you, spiritually, healing in any kind of way, really, if it's a vertical relationship, then what you're doing is taking that power away from yourself, and you're kind of asking somebody to force your hand open. And maybe they can do that, but as soon as they're gone, your hand's gonna be that rigor mortis, clampy, clammy grip back on yourself, obstructing that flow. And it's not really integrated with who you are. And by the way, there's nobody who's more connected to life and to source and who's more spiritual or better or whatever than you. And owning that was when my healing started taking an absolute turning point. Trusting in myself and knowing that if my gut is saying something and somebody, a doctor, whoever, is saying something different, guess who I'm going to trust? Right here. I spent a long time not doing that, and done with that now. It feels pretty effing good. So, things to think about. Allowance, resistance, that you are this naturally free, loving, open being. You can return to that, and to focus on your breath in any high stress environments. Anytime that you can notice yourself constricting, tensing, just breathe. Just work on that breath. Seriously, that is the simplest thing that I can suggest. There's, some more visualization techniques. There's other things you can do, but that breathing, man, if you start with that, it's all gonna come. So, thank you for watching. Have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed day. I'll talk to you later.